Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Reata Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown, and today is Training Tip Tuesday. I'm excited to be with you here today and talk a little bit about horsemanship and something that maybe a little trick or a little idea that I can give you that will help your horsemanship. And this morning, the horse that I'm riding is Tater, and I'm just standing still right here in the round pen with him because I want to show you something for Training Tip Tuesday about him. He gave a good yawn there, a little release. He was off for about 2 years and didn't get ridden for about 2 years, and I did one video with him earlier, or maybe last week, it must have been last week. I did a video with him on his first day, but he's been kind of a reactive horse. He's reactive to people, reactive to me, and not real trusting of me. So that's been kind of a challenge for him, but he's really coming along, becoming much more relaxed and on the ground and under saddle. And for the training tip today, I wanted to talk about specifically him and issues that some horses have and it has to do with lateral flexion when you get under saddle. When you step up in the saddle and you first start to ride, when I do that, when I get on a horse, any horse I get on, I'm going to laterally flex that horse. The reason I do that is, first of all, to see if they're listening to me and listening to that bit, and when they feel a little bit of pressure, I want them to laterally flex. That's the first reason. The second reason is so that they don't learn to walk off when you get on. So if you want a horse to not walk off when you get on, teach them to stand still and laterally flex. Remember, horses are creatures of habit. They will learn a habit, and then they'll even try to take shortcuts to that habit. So if they're if you're loping them around in an arena and you're going to the right at every corner, at some point they're going to start cutting that corner. So horses will take shortcuts. They'll try to beat you to the punch. They'll try to anticipate what you're going to do. They think, oh, I already know what I'm going to do, so I'm going to take a shortcut to it. So that's the same idea when you're under saddle and you're doing lateral flexion. You want them to anticipate standing still and laterally flexing. That will keep them from walking off. And if you get a horse that starts to walk off when you're getting on, then that becomes very, very dangerous, because you could get caught up in the stirrup as they walk off, and if you fall, you could get drugged and seriously injured or killed. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves is a horse that won't stand still when I'm getting on them. So I want to make sure I help that horse do that. Now, my training tip wasn't specifically about that, but I wanted to preface my training tip with that. And then you have some horses, for the training tip today, there are some horses that simply they feel claustrophobic when they laterally flex when you're up on top of them. So you have the saddle, they have their girth, and the saddle's on them, and then you get on them, and now they should be well prepared for this. But even the horses that I prepare really well, the horses that are more reactive, if you have a really reactive horse, they can get really pent up and feel claustrophobic when you laterally flex when you first get on. So when I start working with horses that are that agitated, or that they feel that much anxiety and claustrophobia when I do lateral flexion, when I first get on them, sometimes I'll let them walk forward and I'll just work on bending at the walk. So I'll do the forward bending at the walk, and I'll continue to do that until they start to relax, and then I'll slow them down to a stop and then do lateral flexion. Sometimes if you do lateral flexion right at first, when you're first training a horse and that horse feels really claustrophobic and is real reactive, that horse, every time they go to laterally flex and they get close to your boots, close to the stirrup, and they feel that claustrophobia because you're bending them around towards you, then they can overreact. And I've had horses really overreact a lot. So when I ask for lateral flexion, sometimes, like right here, I'm asking for lateral flexion, and he's gotten to the point where he's nice and relaxed and doesn't worry about it. But when I first started with him, when I would laterally flex, he felt a lot of anxiety right here, and he got flinchy and almost would overreact and start to move off because he feels claustrophobic. So if your horse is claustrophobic and is really reactive at first, make sure that you bend them at a walk, do forward bending at a walk, first before you do lateral flexion. Lateral flexion and standing still will come. That's not going to teach them a bad habit. It's just helping you and helping your horse not get into an accident because of that claustrophobia when you first laterally flex. I hope that helped for Training Tip Tuesday. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time, be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.